Hello everybody, Ignatius Jackson CPA here with another update for you. I wanted to touch base today regarding some recent changes that are coming through Congress and some additional stimulus that's supposedly going to be coming through. Looks like they might vote on it tomorrow morning, and if they pass it, then it will head over to the president's desk for signature, and it looks like he will sign it based on where its current state is. So that said, it's looking like there's going to be another round of stimulus. Okay, some of the versions that I've seen have this at about $1,400 per person. Okay, what that means is you'll get it for you, your spouse, and then each dependent that's on your tax return. One difference this time around compared to previous stimulus payments that came out during 2020 and then earlier in 2021 is that they are going to give you credit for dependents that are in college as well, and not just dependents that are under the age of 17. Okay, so dependents in college and also dependents that are not in college but qualify as a dependent on your tax return. So you should give it credit for all of those dependents, and so that's one nice big change that they're probably going to end up doing. That said, it also looks like they're going to use either 2019 or 2020 tax returns, depending on which one is available. And so that's just kind of a little bit of an update in regards to the stimulus payments. My advice is still to hold off on filing your 2020 return until we see exactly where this bill lands. Because it can result in you potentially missing out on some dollars by not strategizing appropriately with the filing of your tax return. So, for example, if you had, if you're in a situation where you switch off with the parent, you and your ex, switch off years and where you claim your dependent, your son or your daughter, things like that. Or if your income increased significantly or decreased significantly, that might impact your ability to get the credit. That's another situation. And so I would definitely just reach out to a professional, an advisor that understands what the rule changes are that are coming out there. That way they can kind of give you the best advice on how to proceed. But in a lot of situations, I'm kind of recommending that people hold off a little bit on filing their return until we know exactly what's going to happen with this updated stimulus payment that's coming out. One thing to note, just like in previous stimulus payments, if you don't end up getting it in advance, you will ultimately get it when you file your 2021 tax return, assuming you didn't have some significant change in income during 2021 tax year. Okay, so PPP update. As you may have heard, for business owners, there was a PPP update that came out that took away some of the disqualifiers that people were having some issues getting through. And there also was an update in regards to the ability to use gross income instead of net profit for Schedule C filers. So, I can kind of say whether I agree with that or not. I don't necessarily agree with the change. I think it's actually contradictory to the purpose and intent of the bill, because payroll costs are what you would pay payroll taxes on, not your gross wages before you pay payroll taxes. So when you do Schedule C filing, you actually pay your payroll taxes based off of the net profit, which is the line that they were originally using for Schedule C filers. Now they're saying let's use gross income as the line for the payroll cost number, and so it is giving people more money than what technically you can consider they should be eligible for. But that said, that's the rule change that came out. That's what the SBA is doing. So if you qualify for it, definitely take advantage of it. If it's more beneficial to you and it gets you more funds, I would highly recommend you work through that. Now, the only downside to this is they're not allowing you to retroactively change it. Sorry. There's nothing that we can do about that as CPAs. There's nothing we can do about that except complain to our congressmen and senators and kind of force their hand in terms of making the SBA make this change retroactively. It is completely unfair, which is another reason why I don't really like the change. There's been a lot of applications that have already been through the hurdles and already been processed that for people who got very small amounts, $500, $1,000, etc., when they could have gotten $10,000, $15,000 potentially, or maybe even a little bit more if they would have been able to use gross income from the very beginning. So that's the only negative component. Those are the big negative components to me. Doesn't really follow the typical guidance in regards to payroll costs, which all the other entities are having to follow. S corporations, C corporations, partnerships, etc. They're all having to follow that kind of a guideline. And also, it's not really fair to all the other people who already applied, because they're not allowing you to retroactively go back and get more money if you've already applied and received a loan. So we'll see what happens. Currently in the bill as well, my understanding is that the program still sunsets on March 31st. So you really only have a couple weeks left if you want to try to go get some PPP funds. Let me just tell you, there's still billions of dollars available. Billions of dollars available. More than likely than not, the program's going to end on March 31st with probably over $100 billion left, or near that anyways, of funds. And so if you qualify at all for this program, take advantage of it. This is kind of your last chance potentially to take advantage of the program. So don't delay and go do that. Another thing to note, they did come out and say if you got a PPP loan, initial loan in 2021, you cannot go and get a second draw back to back. Okay, so they did officially come out with some guidance on that, and they're saying they're denying those applications. So if Congress extends the program, okay, then we're thinking that will mean that you will be able to go back and get a second draw if you have qualified for both draws, okay? But as of right now, if you received your first draw in 2021, you cannot go back and get a second draw right after getting the first draw, okay? One other thing I want to just make sure you are aware of, if you are an S corporation or a partnership for your business, your deadline is coming up. It's March 15th, okay? You have to either file an extension or file your return. I can tell you that for the majority of my clients, we are filing extensions because we're just not ready to complete those tasks for getting those on time. But for, just generally speaking, if you have a partnership or an S corporation, don't forget to file an extension. The IRS has not extended the tax deadline. They didn't extend it last year. They haven't extended it this year. So do not wait. File those S corporations and partnerships, or at least file an extension. It's very easy to do an extension. Easy form is called Form 7004. Takes you about 5 minutes to fill out. Very easy to do for S corporations and partnerships, excuse me. And it's an automatic extension. So automatic 6 months. Then you'll have until September 15th to file your return. So something else to think about and consider. So those are the updates for now. We're going to be, doing some more videos here in the coming weeks, talking about some different things and things of that nature as well. But just wanted to kind of update you guys real quick on some of the stuff that we're seeing in the media and the news, and reading articles and things of that nature. And just keep in mind that the media is not always 100% correct as well. They're oftentimes quick to put stuff out, and it could have changed by the time it actually gets through Congress and gets signed by the president. So that's why, like I said, I'm advising people to just kind of stand by, hold off. Let's see what actually gets passed. Let's see what actually makes its way to the president's desk. Because at that point, once it gets to the president's desk, we have a pretty good idea what this thing's going to look like. So we just need to wait to see that final text of the bill, and then we can kind of digest it a little bit, and hopefully it should get signed, and then we'll know exactly where things stand and how things will work itself out. So as of right now, the IRS has not extended the April 15th deadline either. I'm thinking, given this legislation that's coming out right now, they're going to have to at this point, because they have to get stimulus payments out, and they have a bunch of other crap they have to do. They're still really behind on processing 2019 tax returns also. I have several clients who are still waiting on refunds, still waiting for them to process their returns. So they're still really behind. Regardless of what they might be saying out there, don't believe it. They are still really behind. And so just be patient. That's all I can say. Unfortunately, there's not much that we can do to force the IRS to move quicker. Unfortunately, that's just not something that we have any control over. But we can certainly, if you want us to, give a call to them and talk to them on your behalf to see if there's anything we can do to move it along. But it's not usually very fruitful. Just going to be real. So just be patient. Unfortunately, I wish I had better news. But yeah, that's the video for today. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to comment on the video, and I will try to respond if they're easy questions. If they're more complicated questions, you will have to set up some sort of consultation or things of that nature to get some more time on our calendar. Please keep in mind we are very busy right now. A lot of things going on, so bear with us in terms of timing of responses and things of that nature. We can't always respond right away, and we can't always respond in detail to your question if it's something that requires a little more consultation and effort. Okay, so thank you for listening, and hope everybody has a great day.